What's up, folks? Welcome to Math Walkthroughs with Mr. Weeb. Today we are determining percents in our Lesson 2 action task. Let's see what the task is. Here it tells us about 35% of Canadian households have at least one dog. Use this statistic to answer the following questions. Estimate how many students in your class are dog owners. Then estimate how many students in your school are dog owners. Explain your thinking using words and pictures. All right. So students in our class, well, I think I'm going to use a number line to show this. So I'm going to put 100% over here. I'm going to put 0% over here. Now, 100% of our class would be 28 kids. Okay? And then 0% of the kids obviously would be 0 kids. We need to find 35%. Okay, so let's see what 10% looks like. Here's 50%. And we need to just show 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 10% over here. Let's find out what that is. 28, it's real simple to find 10% of 28 because we just move the decimal over one spot. We divide it by 10, right? And dividing by 10 just moves it one spot to the left. So we have 2.8 right here. That would be 10% of our class. You know what? Since we're estimating, why are we saying 28? 28 is very, very close to 30, right? So instead of going with that, let's erase this. And let's go with 30. 28 is very close to 30. Okay, now when we look at it and we divide this by 10, we get 3. So 10% of 30 is 3. Then we can figure out, well, that means that if we're at 30%, we're going to have 3 times as much as that, right? Or we could add together as well. 20% would be 6, 30% would be 9. Right? And then we have to figure out, okay, well, what about at 35%? Here's 35% right here. And I can reason that half of 10% would be 5%, right? So that would be 1.5 people at 5%. So here's 5%, and this is 1.5. So if we added 1.5, that would be 10.5 people in our class, 10.5 people. Now we can't have half a person, right? So I'm going to estimate, I would estimate this. I would estimate that 10 people would have a dog in my class because you can't have half of a person who owns a dog. So next, let's look at how many in our whole school would have a dog. And here again, I'm going to use this number line, where we have 100% here and 0% here. And 100% of our school, let's say, is 594. Okay, well, that is close enough, right? That is close enough to 600. 594 is very close to 600. So let's assume that instead of 594, let's assume it's 600. And let's figure out what 35% would be. Well, here's 50%. And we can, 2, 3, 4, we can split it up into tenths. Okay, now we've got tenths, and we can figure out what 10% of 600 is. Again, in order to figure out 10% of 600, we just need to divide it by 10. The decimal is here, we move it one spot over to the left, and we have 60. So 10% is going to be 60. But we need to multiply that by 3. 3 times 60 is 180 if we want 30%. We could count by 60s as well. 60, 120, 180. Okay, and now we need half of 60, right? Because to find 5%, we would just need to see half of 60, which is 30. So we can add another 30. We can add another 30 onto 180, and we would get 210. Okay, and I would write a sentence like this. I estimate that 210 people in our school own dogs. Finally, it asks us, what other strategy could you use to estimate 35% of your class and 35% of your school? I might say this. 35% is close to 33%, or 1/3, so I could just divide 30 by 3 and 600 by 3 to find reasonable answers of 10 and 200. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.